highlight to you all is the next tab is unemployment. This is from, and I won't go through a lot on the needs. I want to talk about the community behind me talk more. And the report that we put together, our plan put together, has most of these things in here. But I do want to highlight the Department of Labor's report from March of 2020 to March of 2021. What they said basically is unemployment claims filed by workers who identify their race as Black or African American rose disproportionately, and women filed a higher share of claims than normal. Although the Black and African American Nebraskans make up a little over 5% of total population. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, they comprise 17% of the continued weeks of claims unemployment from March 2020 to March 2021. As of December 2021, based off of this own report, the unemployment rate for Black Omaha still the same as it has been since post-2008 recession. I also emailed you another report regarding the airport park. In there, that data shows that today, each day, we are seeing 12%, 3 times higher than the unemployment rate of whites, Black workers, and that many of them are underemployed, and many of them are at the federal poverty level. So over the course of, since I got back from Africa, Senator McKinney and I almost met daily with many of the people in this room to come up with the North Omaha plan. We have been in talks with the South Omaha senators, and we have no problem incorporating their plan. Just at the time, I wasn't going to speak for them, nor Senator McKinney, as we didn't know all the details of what their communities may have needed. But one thing I want to highlight is you see I upgraded you to Senator Rogers. Chris Rogers, Commissioner Rogers is here to talk about the alignment. But you also have in your package is a letter from the mayor regarding how we're going to align. I'm going to talk a little bit more about how we're going to align. The point of it is there's never been this kind of alignment at the state level for North Omaha. There's never been this type of alignment for a community plan at the community level. And why is that important? Just last Saturday, we were on a call with over 300 people who are aligned and behind and see this as transformational change that we need in our community. So the one way we'll work together with Douglas County is we have outlined money for mental health and juvenile intervention. These are 2 areas in their ARPA plan that they are looking at funding and building something successful. I want to go a little bit more in detail of the city of Omaha, because it's ironic that the city of Omaha has done a great job of helping with the nonprofit sector in building affordable homes. But what we're finding out is that as homes are being built, the homes that are staying there are looking outdated and looking like they don't belong. Well, the city of Omaha has what they call the exterior repair program. And I'm not going to go through all the programs that we listed, but I'm just going to highlight how this coordination can work. The exterior repair program is designated to certain census tracts east of 72nd Street, or actually east of 72nd Street for low-income areas. They set aside about $1 million already for that particular program. What our plan does is we're going to infuse dollars into that program. So as we build up new houses in infills, that the neighboring houses can also be upgraded to make sure that they are part of the neighborhood, that they're not left behind. Same as the rental rehab program and other programs that the city is already doing. We're looking to enhance what the city is doing, not compete, but make sure we have a targeted approach to the neighborhoods and make sure we leave absolutely nobody behind. One of the biggest and most exciting pieces of our plan is the Airport Park Business Development Part 2. That's part of down by the airport area, a little bit east of 16th Street. One of the things we know with all the affordable housing going into North Omaha is we don't have an economic generator. We don't have a lot of jobs being pulled into the area or businesses being pulled into the area. I sent everybody today a report that was done for DPE that shows that this area will add about 225 jobs. We've got estimates up to 400 jobs. And these are great paying jobs. And what you'll hear is from an admiral who flew in today, or flew in yesterday, who will testify that if we get this airport project done, more likely than not, some people lock them in today, they will move their company or expand their company to this area because of the alignment of what not only we're doing, but what they see from Omaha North all the way through college engineering program. And this is a high skill job as far as engineering company, and they can actually make a big difference in our community. In fact, DED estimates that this area and this business park can generate anywhere between $10 million to $542 million for the state's economy. Helping North Omaha helps the entire state. And I fundamentally believe if we get North Omaha right, in Ord, Nebraska, Ogallala, North Fork, the same problems of economic development we can get right there too. And that doesn't include the additional workers and supply that will come from that. LD 1024 would adopt the North Omaha Recovery Act, which is comprised of two bills. I introduced this bill to set up the committee. I also have another bill on appropriations to help fund it. Under this bill, $450 million in ARPA funds would be replaced and would be a new cash fund for North Omaha Recovery Fund, North Omaha Recovery Act Fund. The fund would be managed by a special committee of the Legislature, North Omaha Recovery Special Committee, consisting of the following members: the Chair of the Urban Affairs, the Speaker of the Legislature, the Chair of the Appropriations Committee or his or her designee, and two members of the Legislature appointed by the Executive Board who represent the district containing one or more qualified census tracts located within the boundaries of the city of a metropolitan class. The special committee under LD 1024 is modeled after the statewide tourism and recreational water access resource sustainability special committee, i.e. Star Wars. As laid out in this proposal, the grants or refundable loans will be distributed by the special committee and will target four broad areas, which are housing and homelessness, community and business recovery, community well-being, and community assistance and programming. I know there are a number of individuals and organizations that plan to testify here today. I respectfully ask this committee to do the invited proponents' testimony first, followed by proponents in public health, negative economic impacts, which includes housing, job training, minority-owned business assistance. Then followed by the services to disproportionately impacted communities, which is youth employment, park demolition, home repairs, gang and crime prevention. And then lastly, infrastructure. After each of these categories are talked about from the general proponents of behind us, we can follow with opposition. Again, we can't stress the importance of this infusion of cash in our Nebraska system that is designated or at least prioritized by our federal government for census tracts. And those census tracts are greatly in North and South Omaha. It's time for a big and bold plan. This plan you'll hear about has been pretty much adopted by the entire community, and the community is asking this body to move this legislation forward to the floor so we can move this along and get our community served. With that, I'll answer any questions.
Thank you, Senator Wayne. Are there any questions from the committee? Senator Ivey.
Senator Wayne, what's the process here? This bill and funding, appropriations, and all that. How do you see that? How do you see the process?
Well, ideally, I would like to move this bill out as is with the $450 million coming out of this committee and amend it on the floor to what appropriations would be appropriate. Because we introduced two bills, we weren't sure how they were going to move timely. So the appropriation bill was introduced as a backup plan, and it actually worked out the way we thought it would, whereas governor's plan went first, now they're doing the governor's budget. So we won't get to the ARPA bills for 2 or 3 weeks. But we can at least move this bill forward and still kind of work out where everybody's at.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Ivey. Senator Blood.
Thank you, Vice Chair Hunt. Thank you for bringing this forward. This is so exciting. I do have one question, and I've not seen it. I know you know this inside out. Metrics. So important to do a big project like this. How are you going to measure what we treasure so we know that we're on the right track? And should you want to replicate this, as you talked about in other places, the state of Nebraska, how will we measure what we utilize for our metrics?
So in the plan on page, I believe it's 17, starts our community engagement outcomes loop. We have an entire process of using evidence base. And so how I envision this working is we would send out a request for qualifications. And we would put out a proposal, and there would be somebody who would be administering our our grant process and our loan process, and we would establish those metrics at the committee level. The same way the STARS committee adheres to the RFP to set up how they would do it.
So it would be done at the state level and reported to the legislature on a yearly basis, or?
Yes, and so that's why we set up the committee when urban affairs share, regardless of where I'm here, that this would be housed there, it would have to come back to urban affairs. We also want to make sure the appropriations for his or her designee and the speaker be on the committee, so there's complete transparency of where the funds are going.
Excellent, thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Bud.
Thank you for bringing this, Senator.
Sure.
The project inventory that I see in this plan, does that add up to roughly 450 million?
437 million. We asked South Omaha and it might be additional 100 million, and that's what we're looking at doing is trying to figure out how we just do an Omaha plan. Again, it was just the timing of the issue. I can collaborate with them at the time. So yeah, 437 million, 450 million.
And if we are talking about the entire 450, we have that committee to prioritize this. Most appropriate or most appropriate.
Correct. And if we had a significant decrease, let's say 300 million, that committee with most, well, probably the chair of it, so we would have a couple more community hearings to figure out of that pie where things should go. We won't do it in the back.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Brizzi. Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you for your introduction, Senator Wayne. Next up, I'd like to invite us to the self as we invite us.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Vice Chair Hunt, and members of the Urban Affairs Committee. I am Terrell McKinney. I represent District 11, which is North Omaha. Spell my name TERRELLMCKINNY. I am here to speak today as a co-sponsor and proponent of LB 1024 to adopt the North Omaha Recovery Plan. As a lifelong North Omaha resident and state senator representing District 11 in the state legislature, which encompasses North Omaha, I assert that it is well past time that our state invest resources in communities affected most by the COVID-19 pandemic. It shouldn't come as a surprise that communities most affected are also communities that are most historically disenfranchised in the state of Nebraska. Out of curiosity, me and Senator Wayne pulled some stats made from 211 in Nebraska between 2020 and 2021. In District 11 and District 13. For those who are unfamiliar, like 911, 211 is a special telephone number in the U.S. and Canada. While 911 provides emergency assistance, 211 is designed to provide information referrals to health, human services, and other social programs. In 2020, the numbers for District 11 were 5,275. For District 13, the total number of requests was 4,318. Subsequently, in 2021, the totals for District 11 were 12,231. The total requests in District 11 were 11,509. Among these calls, the top inquiries were housing, shelter, and utility assistance. These facts clearly infer an influx of unmet needs and a hunt for resources. Since the beginning of the pandemic, crime has also gone up in areas of theft, and also evictions have risen as well at a alarming rate. These facts infer that there is a grave lack of accountability in ensuring that residents of North Omaha and Northwest Omaha have access to adequate and actual affordable housing, transportation, food access, and overall resources for families with the most needs. I have stated before that money is not the end-all be-all, but money is a tool that will go a long way in changing the trajectory of North Omaha. In this legislature, we frequently discuss our state's low unemployment rate. As a representative of District 11, I must point out that North Omaha's greatly surpasses the state's average, which was already not in good shape prior to the pandemic. The commitment the state of Nebraska has dedicated to the sustainability of North Omaha and its residents has been non-existent throughout my lifetime. The result of this inaction has resulted in more than half of the residents and families living below the poverty line, and with poverty having strong correlation of crime has resulted in a disproportionate number of individuals from North Omaha being incarcerated or being affected by the criminal justice system. We're always asked and spinning our wheels as what can be done or how do we help our community. The plan is here and the time is now to invest in community, invest in small business and entrepreneurship to create job growth in the community. As I close, I would be remiss if I did not reiterate that the guidelines laid out in the final rules made it clear that the funds from the American Rescue Plan Act are for communities hit hardest by the pandemic, especially in qualified census tracts. Based on the foregoing, I ask that you vote in favor of LB 1024, get it out on the floor, and continue to support as it goes through the process. Thank you.
Seeing none, next I'll invite us Douglas County Commissioner Chris Rogers.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair, members of the committee. My name is Chris Rogers, CHRIS, from the EGERS, I represent District 3 in Douglas County, which is Douglas, Omaha. I want to begin by thanking Senator Wayne, thank you, Senator King, for the work they've done on this, in putting this forward. But I also want to thank the efforts that they put in and listen to a lot of people behind us and the effort that's been going on probably for the last 15 years or so in that respect. So at the same time, I want to just get directly to the point that Senator Wayne made and kind of explain where I think this fits into the county's perspective. I heard definitely comments of some boundaries and some lines laid down in respect to the funding and what it would do, what is targeted towards some respect. And I heard the term on the floor, ongoing funding. Well, I want to kind of frame this up to say that I'm going to explain this to you. I don't think it's ongoing funding to some degree. I want to talk about the specific areas that Senator Wayne talked about, which is mental health and juvenile justice. These are areas that the county has been in and that we see this opportunity as a steroid shot to advance the plan and put it in place to some degree. So if these funds are there for us in that respect, it wouldn't be a one-term shot. It would be into a plan that's going on. The county has invested into keeping up. I want to talk specifically about mental health. Just today, the county approved a supermajority vote, a plan to have a study done to get a feel for what are the services and the capacities needed for mental health and then understanding where are we going to go